Welcome, welcome, one and all, to the Non-negotiables podcast. We're going to do this every day, maybe 10 minutes a day, maybe 20 minutes a day. I don't know, but we're going to get this channel, we're going to pump it up. So if you wouldn't mind sharing the link on all of your social medias. And yeah, let's actually get into this thing. Let's actually make this channel happen. What's going on, Meathead? I'm driving, so I will listen. No problem. I don't plan on taking off my shirt, so you don't have to look. Um, yeah, so wanted to talk about the election, where we are so far. I'm honestly over it. I'm politically saturated at this point. I'm sick of all of it. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I think that is the whole idea of what's going on. I think that's the media's plan. I think that when you go to Google and you search election results, or you're looking for anything dealing with election irregularities or election fraud, every single thing that pops up is no evidence of election irregularities, election fraud. Here, I'll give you guys just a little taste, and then we'll talk about a couple of these news stories. If I go in and I check out and I say election fraud, it is just one article, one headline after another. Birth or myth, vote fraud claims continue to draw scrutiny. Trump campaign cuts ties with Cindy Powell, making her seem like a lunatic. I've been searching more specific things, so you can see here about the Heritage Foundation's fraud map. But even that, when you click on it, they make it seem like it's a pittance, a couple of thousand cases, like if it's no big deal. Proven instances of voter fraud, 1,302. Yeah, except that that's not what we're talking about here. If Sydney is right about what she's talking about, she's saying that there are millions of cases. She's talking about the system, the actual election system, being completely fraudulent. She's saying that millions of votes were switched for Biden and then just dumped for Trump. And God willing, she actually has the evidence to back it up. A lot of people are turning their back on her. It seems like Trump campaign is at the very least wondering about whether or not she's got the goods. Tucker Carlson caught all that heat for kind of throwing her under the bus and saying that she wouldn't show him any evidence. I don't know. Hopefully she does have the goods. And then there's sort of a bad side to that too, right? If this really happened, if she can demonstrate that there are millions of votes that were just invented out of whole cloth or removed from Donald Trump, then we're talking about a true and utter crisis in this country. I mean, we're talking about not being able to have confidence in any election for the past 10 years. I tend to want to believe it when people talk about Biden getting 80 million votes. And I remember the conversations that we were having where we were talking about how there's no way that Biden is going to motivate voters to get out. That all Trump had to do was have a big showing. The New York Times, Washington Post, all these people came out with stories a few weeks before the election saying, if Trump can motivate his voters to come out, he's going to win hands down. He's going to win in a landslide. Because we know, sociologically speaking, we know that hate for a candidate or anti a particular candidate votes don't work, right? So if you take a look at 2016, a lot of people were against Clinton, but it didn't drive people out to vote for Trump. And so Trump supporters, we came through, right? We put 74 million ballots out there for Trump. We did our part. Are you telling me that the anti-Trump vote was so powerful, or combined with the pro-Biden, the pro-zepping above the pressure guy, was so overwhelming that he beat out every single president in history? He beat out Obama. Obama, who got the white guilt vote. Many, many, many people who had voted Republican all their lives went out and voted for Obama because, hey, I'm not racist. And then all of a sudden, here comes little old Biden with Kamala, the most hated candidate of all of the candidates for the 2020 primaries. The one that left before the first primary vote was cast because she was so hated. That's the guy that got over 80 million Americans to vote. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. So, I mean, even if Sidney Powell doesn't have the goods, even if she's out there, with circumstantial evidence and she can't really produce, do any of us actually believe that this is real? Do any of us actually think? I mean, I don't. But it's like, the title of this podcast, the question is sort of out there. What you going to do about it? What the hell am I going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are any of us going to do about it? Check this out. From Revolver News, new data from rigorous statistical analysis points to voter fraud in Montgomery County, PA. On Thursday, November 5th at 9:09 a.m., a large batch of 90,022 mail/absentee votes get added that was over 95% supporting Biden. But the total of votes only went up by 9,534, implying that in-person votes actually went down by 80,488. On its own, this is a very strange irregularity, as ballots cannot disappear, and in-person ballots cannot become mail-in ballots. Something is wrong with the reported data. But it goes on. See, the fact that it was 95% for Biden is a huge irregularity, because the statistical analysis of all the votes show that those votes were about 74.9% for Biden. All this stuff, and if you read on, I mean, you can see that there is a ton of stuff. You've got some batches of votes that were 98.1% for Biden. So we've got that. We've got the Michigan appeals guy, the Michigan judge. They're coming out and saying, listen, the mail-in balloting is not constitutional, for one thing. Secondly, you've got people coming out with these affidavits saying, look, we saw tons of ballots come in perfectly neat with no fold creases in them, just stacks and stacks of ballots that look like they were printed off in a printer, being fed, sometimes the same ballot being fed 3 and 4 times into the same machine. And this guy, an Obama appointee, says, well, if it means that even one real ballot is going to be thrown out, I don't have the power to do that, so we're going to count them all. Which is, of course, the exact opposite of what the Trump campaign is looking for. Basically, the Trump campaign is saying, look, they changed the rules a month out from the election. These weren't absentee ballots. All of these states that are in question here, they actually have rules on the books about absentee ballots, about making sure that they are reviewed and making sure that there is a request and that you can verify that the ballot went to the right address. Now we've got thousands of votes that have been shown that went to invented addresses. People were coming in and voting, putting their address in the sign-in books, and they were just making up the addresses that don't exist. Just one thing after another. In each one of these cases where, little Ben Shapiro was talking about how, voter fraud instances aren't enough to change elections. Usually it means there's, 100 or 200 votes that are found to be fraudulent in any review. And these are thousands of views or votes that need to be overturned. Okay, well, we've got the thousands now. We've got a unprecedented number of votes that are fraudulent, not to mention the ones that you would classify as irregularities. So what does that mean? Ultimately, I think what it means is that the courts are going to step in and they're going to put an end to the Trump campaign's fight. I think that Judge Barnes or Barnes or whatever his name is, I think that was just the first of a long string of judges, a long string of cases where even the Supreme Court is going to sort of shrug if they can. If there's not irrefutable evidence that this is a stolen election, that there is rampant fraud, if we cannot demonstrate that Dominion and the Smartmatic systems were infiltrated and were fraudulently set up so that Biden would win, if those things can't be proven, I think the courts sort of shrug and say, I'm not going to be responsible for a civil war. Ultimately, the courts are manned by human beings who do not want to see war. They want things to go smoothly and easily. They are probably willing to watch this travesty pass and just sort of hope for the best. And a big part of why I'd say they'd be willing to let it pass is because the side that gets screwed is the Republican side. As Republicans, we're soft. We're soft. We don't fight. We don't riot. There's next to nothing that will get us marching in the streets. Washington, D.C. just passed a law that teenagers, I think as young as 14, can decide to get the coronavirus vaccine without parental consent. About 5 minutes after that, news stories started popping up talking about how in all 50 states it should be a national mandate that teenagers, underage children, be allowed to get the coronavirus vaccine without parental consent. There are already a bunch of states that allow children to get abortions without parental consent. Where are the rioters? I mean, where are the Republicans screaming, marching? Nowhere. So what you gonna do about it? That's the question that we all need to be struggling with, because I understand that it feels good to imagine a future where Sidney Powell triumphantly walks up to the bench in the Supreme Court and lays out videographic evidence of fraud and shows screenshots of the Dominion software being altered, of the trash dumps that she says that she has evidence of millions of Trump votes just being discarded. It's a fun future to envision, and it's a great thing to make us feel better. But if we're being honest, and if we're seeing this with clear eyes, then we got to know that we're up against a massive machine. As conservatives, as Republicans, as Trump voters, we're up against 98% of the media. We're up against what feels like 100% of the deep state. There are no Trump loyalists in the deep state. There are no, conservatives at the CIA, at the FBI, pulling strings and trying to find ways to help our cause. We've got Lindsey Graham, the newfound lion, fist bumping Kamala. Fist bumping Kamala. That dog. That anti-American, America-hating pig. We got nobody. Well, that's not true, right? That's not true. We got nobody with access to the national airwaves. But actually, we've got 74 million. We've got 74 million people, all of which looked media in the eye and said, bite me. All of which stood up and voted for Trump in the face of what seemed like the wider world, even other nations, saying, if you vote for this guy, you're a racist, you're a deplorable. And still, they saw the vision of what another 4 years of Trump would be, and they pulled the lever for Trump. And so, I mean, a 74 million man and woman army, but we feel so damn alone. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I mean, I see the dejection in the faces of so many others. And you know what? The people in power are looking at us, and they're saying the same thing. What you gonna do about it? And if history has anything to show for it, it's nothing. We're gonna complain. We're gonna beat our fist, and we're gonna bitch and moan, and we're gonna take it. Because that's what we do, time and time again. Or not, right? Or not. Maybe this is the time, right? Maybe this is finally the moment where we say enough is enough. Maybe the powerful, the elite in our country, stealing from us the first real and consequential movement conservatives had in 50, 60 years, Maybe them reaching in and just stripping us of all the good that we have fought to gain over the last 4 years. Maybe that is enough to get us to say, yeah, okay, we're going to do something about this. I don't know what that looks like. For me, in very small and private ways, it looks like this, right? Podcasting, talking to people. In more broad ways, it means the first child protective service agent that shows up telling me that my kid asked for a vaccine and I can't say anything about it, has a very bad day. Maybe that's what it looks like. Definitely looks like I'm going to become self-sufficient more and more every day. And then really broadly, maybe it's time to start making more noise. There's 74 million of us. We're not alone. Maybe it's time for us to recognize that as the reality. Show them that we're not just going to take it. I think that's all it would take. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm going to try to keep these little podcasts short, at least for a while. Hey, go ahead and spread the link to this channel everywhere, far and wide. Let's get the channel up past 1,000 subscribers as fast as possible. See if we can't get some of that sweet, sweet YouTube green flowing, and maybe do some more advanced stuff with this channel. But I don't know. Be encouraged at least to know that you're not alone. 74 million person army is a pretty big army. All we need to do is grow a pair of balls. Plus the millions that weren't counted. Damn straight. Some people are talking about Trump having gotten 80 million votes. That actually the numbers are somewhat reversed. And you think about all the people out there that didn't vote, because there are those. You think about all the people that couldn't vote. You know, I got green card holders in my life that would have voted for Trump in a heartbeat if they had the ability to. Too bad they weren't Democrats, or they would have filled in a mail-in ballot. That's the thing, right? We play by the rules. We play by the rules. And, you know, we're playing a rigged game. But damn it, if we don't refuse to meet them at their level, or just, I mean, it's crazy. It's wild. I don't know. I don't know if that part changes. Integrity is pretty important to our side. But, you know, we don't have to play dirty. Maybe we just need to fight. So, anyways, that's it for this episode. You guys, thanks for joining me. Share the link around, share the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll do it every day. The shows will get better. I'm used to just talking at the moment that I feel passionate about something. That's usually every week or 10 days. But we got to do this daily. Actually, I'm sad that we didn't do it daily before, but now we're going to do it daily. We're going to make this a regular thing around 5 o'clock, and we'll get into these chats. But for now, gotta catch you all in the next one.